What's up, everybody? Welcome, Occupy Fantasy YouTube channel, PGA DFS picks and lineup advice, FanDuel, DraftKings. The Honda Classic starts tomorrow, Thursday. I'm Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy. You know me, just me tonight, a little solo show, 30 minutes here. We'll be here till about 10:30 p.m. Eastern, talking about the top golfers to select for your FanDuel and DraftKings DFS lineups for this week's event. Talk about some lineup strategies for this particular event. Talk about our Occupy lineup construction that we like to use for our big GPPs and satellite lineups. And then talk about some of the betting market moves and what that means for our player selections. Talk about what I've learned so far this year playing PGA DFS. So before we get started, if you're not already, click that subscribe button below. Get access to all of our videos and live streams as soon as they're released here on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up on the video if you like it. We always appreciate that. Any questions you have, happy to answer them here. Just go ahead and ask in the chat box to the right of the video, and I'll stop when I'm doing it and answer your questions. Any player questions, lineup questions, whatever it may be. Let me get this tweeted out on my side, and then we'll dive in here. So give me one sec. Tweet it. We're good to go. I'm running full production as well as the video, so we'll see how many things I can juggle at one time, but so far, so good. I got a couple comments about the haircut. Yeah, finally, after 4 months of quarantine, got the haircut. So believe me, it feels good. Definitely feels good. So, all right. So what you see on screen here is our daily plug, OccupyFantasy.com. Written by Niramata, our PGA DFS writer, top 100 roto grinders, PGA DFS player, has won tons of big contests in PGA DFS, knows golf better than anybody knows any DFS sport as far as I'm concerned. So what he does every week in the daily plug, comes in, gives his top plays, gives a lot of context to our Occupy model, which is purely data driven. Reads between the tea leaves of the players' comments and their press conferences to find out who's in good form, and then takes a look at some historical factors, puts it all into his top plays. He analyzed the betting market moves on Wednesday, which we'll talk about here in 1 second. And then, most importantly, reviews each event and talks about the lineup strategies that we need to take down the biggest contest. So yeah, here's a big question. What's up, Swaglord Kim? What are you doing with Neiman and Sungjae now that Berger is out? So if you didn't hear, there are a couple withdrawals from the event, a couple COVID withdrawals. Gary Woodland, top of that list. Doc Redman, Scott Piercy. And then, as of today, Daniel Berger withdrew with a rib injury. There was a question whether or not he was going to play. Fortunately, we got that answer on Wednesday morning, afternoon, and not 10 minutes after lock like we got with Louis and Harris English in the last couple of weeks. So what that does is that really changes the ownership a lot. So let's go over to the Occupy model really quickly. And again, if you're not familiar, the Occupy model ranks every golfer, FanDuel, and DraftKings based on 50-plus metrics. Our proprietary formula called the OF Index has projected ownership as well. If we're on DraftKings and we look here, and I wouldn't be surprised if these numbers get higher. We now see Joaquin Neiman, Sungjae Im above the 20% mark. You know, if you played the majors, recent events, you notice that most golfers don't get over 20%. Just because of the wide variety of options. But this field is so incredibly weak, and people are going to look for some sort of quote-unquote safety, which, if you have to ask me, Sungjae is far from the safest player on the course. But they're looking for names that they know that are, near the top of the world rankings, at least compared to the rest of the field. And as a result, we get inflated ownership. We go over to FanDuel. I mean, we see it even higher. Sungjae and Neiman above 30%, probably higher once the contests start. Real quick, shout out to Clary. Appreciate that. $100 super chat donation. Appreciate you, Clary. Says, before we dive into PGA, I want to give back to the OF folks after some recent success. Thanks for doing all that you do. Appreciate you, Clary. Thank you. Sound effects. The crowd goes wild. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for that. And congrats on your success lately. Clary's been cleaning up in the NHL streets. Had a big NFL win towards the end of the postseason. So congrats, Clary. So to get back to Ken's question, what am I doing with the top of the salary, top of the ownership type guys? And I'm going to do what I've continued to do and what I've had a lot of success in 2021, late 2020 playing PGA DFS is just kind of matching the field on those guys. So, if you make 5 lineups, maybe you put Sungjae and Neiman in 1 to 2 of those. Make 10 lineups, roughly match at 20%. You're making 20 to 150 like I am. pretty much match them 20 to 30%, somewhere in that range. That way, if they go off, they don't kill you. But if they bust and the field bust, we still have 70, 80% of our lineups that are still live. And that's the best way I've chosen to approach it. And really, that's the way I approach any high-owned golfer, unless there's some major red flags in my mass multi-entry. 10, 20, 30 plus lineups. Match the ownership of the top owned guys. Don't get killed by them. Take your stands on those, 10 to 20% owned golfers. And if you've watched our NBA live streams, or if you read the section at the end of the daily plug in NBA, it's a very similar approach where you match the field on the highest owned players. Now, again, very different NBA chalk versus PGA chalk. You get 50% guys versus 20% guys. Much less volatility in NBA. But you notice NBA DFS pros and PGA DFS pros have a similar approach in the sense that they take stands on that medium range of ownership. Guys that are 5 to 15% owned, that are being overlooked but still have a good chance. That's who they go over the field on, and that's what I've been doing a lot of too. So to answer Ken's question, try to match the field on Neiman and M. Smaller contests definitely get those guys in there because of the ownership, but larger contests, GPP, satellites, leagues, try to match the field and be okay with fading them in a majority of your lineups. All right, let's see here. So 10:08, we'll be here till 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Again, if you have questions, hop in the chat. Happy to answer them here live. Since we got some people in here now, reminder that we do have the new join feature here on YouTube. We're doing all of our live streams on YouTube. So if you click the join button right beneath the live video here, it's a little button that says join. You get access to our Discord channel. So go ahead and check that out. Easy access there. And it also gives you the usage of our Occupy Fantasy emojis during these live streams, which I know you can't live without. So go ahead and click the join button, $2.99 a month. A couple bucks goes to us, helps us support these live streams. So we always appreciate that. Speaking of Discord, before we jump into more PGA talk, one of our members is running a March Madness bracket contest. And it's available through Discord only. So again, just another reason to click the join button. Go to our Discord channel, occupyfantasy.com/Discord. That way you can join the bracket challenge. We're going to give away some merchandise to the winners, some Occupy Fantasy t-shirts and hoodies and whatnot. So again, go check that out. Okay. All right. So we talked about the top end of the market. Let's look at these betting market moves, because if I can get my mouse going here. All right. Back to the plug. And again, every Wednesday, Nirmata comes in, looks at Pinnacle Sports, the biggest line movers. Fortunately, all these lines were recorded and the changes were noted like immediately before Berger pulled out. So we really get the true market movers and not necessarily the moves that are reactions to a top end guy being removed from the market like Daniel Berger. So here we go. And again, like last week, Pinnacle is priced up nearly 100 golfers in their odds to win market, which is great. Gives us more information. And again, because we have 100 guys instead of 60, we're going to see more moves than we have been in the past 6 months of the daily plug. Clary does ask in the chat, is Occupy still doing Twitch at all? No, we're migrating away from Twitch. We might do occasional Twitch streams over there, but for the most part, all of our streams will be here on YouTube. Just another reason for those of you who haven't already, click subscribe. That way you get notified when we do these live streams. So you look at these line moves, and you may say, who the hell are all these guys? Very legitimate question. Again, very soft field, so we'll see a lot of moves on guys that we wouldn't normally play in PGA DFS. But I got to say, and it's really, really comforting to see that a lot of these moves are on guys that the Occupy model is high on this week. A couple guys that Nirmata wrote up in the plug. So guys like Sepp Straka, one of the top moves, 22% move in his favor. Just a little context here. That means his odds to win have been reduced by 22% since the markets opened, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whenever it was, until this was recorded Wednesday, which means that he has a 22% better chance of winning than he did, according to betting markets, when lines first opened. So somebody is betting Straka as well as these other guys. You'll see a lot of lower end guys. Like Streka's 6,700, I think, on DraftKings. So a perfect low-owned, low-dollar piece to fit in. Other guys that fit this criteria that the model like, Martin Keimer, European vet. I think we played him once last year in a big event. But again, European player. This is going to be a windy event down in Florida. Not surprising to see a couple win players get boosts in the betting markets. Adam Scott always near the top of the model. EVR, if you very dangerous player when there's water around after he hit it in the water about 70 times in that one event. But again, the model likes him as it normally does, and the betting markets like him too. We always like that type of alignment when we're looking for these plays. Russell Henley at the top literally leads the Occupy model. Let's go back to the model really quickly, and we look at OF index. Highest OF index by 20 points. Now, again, look at this field that they're playing in. And if you're looking at recency bias and you say, dude, Henley shot like 4 over last week, didn't even make the cut, and now he's going to be 18% owned in high-risk contests. But yeah, the model likes him a lot this week, likes him a lot to bounce back. Obviously, recent form is huge, but again, we can't know everything that's going on with a golfer, so we can't take that as our major primary factor when deciding to play golfers. So Henley and the betting markets are back on Henley this week. So he's probably the top play at the top end of the market according to a lot of different sources. And even Niramata has him in plays that he likes today. So pretty much a trifecta play, Russell Henley. The other trifecta play, which again may scare you because this is a very scary event, JT Poston. 13% move in the betting markets. Top quarter of the model. Niramata wrote him up in the plug. Likes him as a play. So we get that trifecta. This is the trifecta we talk about on these shows for PGA. If we get a PGA expert to like a guy, we get our analytical model to like a guy, and we get the betting markets, sharp bettors betting on a guy to win, I mean, there's not much more you can ask for in PGA DFS. So again, Poston's going to be one of my highest owned guys, as is Russell Henley. The nice thing about Poston is, let's go back over to the model. And as we look for Poston, let's just type his name here in the chat or in the search bar. JT Poston. Just 8% projected ownership on DraftKings, 7% projected ownership on FanDuel. This is the perfect guy, the type of leverage guy that I'll be playing in 20 to 30% of my lineups. That not necessarily pros are going to be playing this guy in particular. They should be with the trifecta. But this is the type of guy that they'll get overweight on in their 20-plus lineups. So Poston's a perfect fit. And these are the guys we look for every single week. Let's see. So 10:15, we got 15 minutes left or so. Again, if you have questions about lineups, particular players, try to answer them here live. Go ahead and ask it in the chat. So let's go back to the betting moves here. And the other nice thing about the betting moves in the Wednesday update for the Daily Plug is this Pinnacle mispriced list. So basically, DraftKings, FanDuel, they have their own algorithms, how they price players. If we just looked at Pinnacle's odds to win and we just sorted players by that, assign them a DraftKings price based on their ranking in Pinnacle, we can get some pretty clear mismatches. And this list here goes to show, who the most mispriced golfers are if we're just looking at Pinnacle's betting markets. And it's nice, once again, that a lot of these guys either have betting market moves already, are mentioned in the plug, or high in the model. So Adam Long mentioned in the plug, Ryan Moore mentioned in the plug, Luke List high in the model, Berger obviously out of the tournament, Streelman high in the model, Straka high in the model, line move, Glover high in the model, Varner high in the model, Matt Jones. I don't know if he's high in the model or he didn't have a line move, right? No, but I know a couple of prominent bettors are on him. So I mean, just lots of reasons. John Huh in the Daily Plug. I mean, these two lists are what you should be drawing from in addition to the plug, the model. That's what your player pool should be comprised of. All right, Ken always coming through with a great question. How about a winner, favorite play, fade, guy you're playing that we shouldn't? Great questions. So I love doing this. Let's talk about it. So favorite to win for me. Let's see here. Let's go back to the model actually. Let's clear the search. So I'll go with Russell Henley to win it. That'll be, I mean, he's gonna trifecta play. Plug, betting moves, top of the model. It worked last week with Justin Thomas. Hit the trifecta, won the Players Championship, won a lot of people a lot of money. So we'll go right back to the well this week. I'll say Russell Henley is my favorite play. Or he's the winner. He's my projected winner. Favorite play, we talked about Poston. He's going to be my favorite guy. Next trifecta guy, low ownership. He'll be there. A fade, I'll say, let's see here. Let's go to DraftKings salary. Let's sort by DraftKings salary here. And maybe this is tough because he's been playing absolutely lights out of nowhere for no reason. It's Lee Westwood. Again, 14% ownership. If this was a larger field, if he hadn't just finished second in back-to-back weeks just out of nowhere, he wouldn't even be close to this number. So I think Lee Westwood qualifies as the fade this week. Go ahead and clip that for after he's in second on the back nine on Sunday. And a guy that I'm playing that you absolutely shouldn't, it's probably Cameron Percy. So I'm look it up here. Where is he? Yeah, near the top of the model. 6% projected ownership. It's gone up a little bit. But I haven't seen his name mentioned anywhere else. Just the model. Model-only play. I'm ride or die with the model. Probably shouldn't play him, but that's what I'm playing. I at least have 5 to 10% ownership. Hopefully the model has something working here. Let's see. We got a couple more questions here. What's up, Neil? Who's your favorite player in the 7 to 7.5K range? Good question. Let's use the sliders here, and we'll get 7.5K. On DraftKings, it's probably Zach Johnson for me. He was close to the trifecta. Didn't get the betting market moves for us. But Niramata likes him a lot, wrote him up in the plug. Model is high on him. So Zach Johnson, definitely my favorite play. And again, perfect type of guy we're looking for in high-risk contests, just 7% ownership. Easy to get leverage on him. So Zach Johnson qualifies there. Michael asks, who's going to withdraw after lineups? Lock. Yeah, dude, if you know, let me know. I would love to know. Nothing more tilting than 10% of your lineup's dead. 9 a.m. Hasn't even taken a shot yet. Ken says definitely gonna be Russell Henley. Yeah, that would be horrifying. That would be horrifying. All right, guys. 10:18, 12 more minutes. We're here. If you're just joining us, make sure you got that subscribe button clicked. That way you're notified when we go live here on YouTube. I don't know what we have planned tomorrow. We might have an NBA stream. We should have a March Madness stream tomorrow. Go over some bracket strategy for any size contest that you're in. We're heavily invested. Our other co-founder, Waleed, has won this 1,100 person bracket in 2 out of the last 3 years. So he's definitely got some strategies he's willing to share with us. We got the analytics down pat, playing in the DraftKings bracket contest. So yeah, I think tomorrow night we'll do that. And again, join our Discord. One of our members is running a bracket contest. We're throwing some free merch out there for the winners. OccupyFantasy.com/Discord. You can click join, the join button right below this video to get access to the Discord and access to the Occupy Fantasy emojis during these live streams in the live chat. All right, let's see. We talked about the betting market moves. Let's talk about lineup strategies and lineup construction. I'm going to scroll down on the daily plug. Let's zoom ourselves all the way down here to lineup strategies. My favorite part of the plug every single week. Obviously, we love seeing who Niramata's on. No question about it, right? Guy knows what he's talking about. PGA expert. We love seeing who he's going to play. But for me, I can't get the first thing when I put this up on the site is read the lineup strategy section. Because he looks at this event in the past, what it means, looks at lineup constructions, the optimal way to play. Majority of the time, it falls within our Occupy Fantasy lineup constructions, which if you've been around, you know it. We talked about it all the way last year. But here's a little secret. If you haven't read it, haven't read the plug, don't know it. If you're playing GPPs, you're playing satellites, you're playing leagues, any high-risk contest, the optimal lineup construction, you have 2 golfers 15% or higher owned. They're high owned for a reason, but limit yourself to just 2. 2 golfers 5% owned or less. Golf's a crazy sport. Let's get some low-owned guys in there. And then 2 golfers in that middle, 5 to 15%. This construction hits way more often than the field uses it, and just go look at the end of this event on Sunday. Guarantee that the winner of your GPPs or satellites, whatever you're in, follow a very similar construction. And no surprise, looking at this event last year, the drive the green's a $5 GPP on DraftKings. This guy, Dude of Life, great name, followed it pretty much to a T. 2 golfers over 15%, Knox and Fowler. 2 golfers in between, Palmer and Koepka, 7 and 14. And 2 guys below, 5%, 2% and 3% for Keith Mitchell and Lucas. Nope, not saying that name. No clue. But 2 guys below 5%. And Keith Mitchell goes to show how crazy this event is. I was talking to Ken before the show in the chat. Keith Mitchell could be a guy that's made up. No clue. Never heard of him. But he apparently won this event last year at 2% ownership. Goes to show that this field is wide open for this event. Windy conditions. It's going to play extremely tough. With a lack of top-end talent, literally anybody can win. So even more important this week to get those 2 sub 5% golfers in all of your lineups. And so as Niramata says here, follows it down to a T. And Keith Mitchell won this tournament, only scored 99 points on DraftKings. With a tough course, not many birdies, eagles, streaks, bogey-free rounds, you're going to need guys that finish high. And finishing position is going to be very, very important. So you got to figure, can I get 5 guys in that top 10? Hopefully 6. If they can't, got to nix them. But again, this week, pretty much anybody fits that bill because it's going to be a wild week. Let's see. All right, we got some more questions. Joe says, how much money are you leaving on the table in most of your lineups? So again, most weeks, 49K to 50K for me on DraftKings. 1K left over at most, and most of the time it's not even using that. Mostly using all the salary cap. But this week, because we have guys like Seb Streka at the top of the line moves board, top of the model, not top of the model, but top 10% of the model at 6,700, right? There are plenty of guys that can win and leave salary. So for me, if you're using our lineup builder or another optimizer, I would leave up to $2,000 in some lineups. Play the guys you like this week. Don't feel forced to pay up and, just to get close to the salary cap. If you guys that you like, that the model likes, that Nero likes, that the betting markets like, and don't necessarily use the whole cap, that's fine. So I think up to 2,000 is fine this week. I don't necessarily say every single lineup, but salary is definitely less important this week than it is in other events, especially majors. Let's see, McLongprod, great name. Is ownership strategy less important this week in large field, GPP, dual week field? Absolutely not. It's actually very similar, right? We get compressed ownership on the top end guys like Sungjae and Neiman, like we talked about at the top of the show, but not for good reason. Just really that they're the more known names and they have a better long-term ceiling than some of the other golfers in this event. But you still want to limit yourself. 2 guys above 15% at most. You can probably do 1 this week, but you definitely want 2 guys below 5% in your lineup and then fill out with those mid-range guys in between. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, you can read the lineup construction strategy part of the daily plug, or you can ask a follow-up question in the chat. William, what's up, man? You going stars and scrubs or even levels? It's really scrubs and scrubs because nobody's really that good in this event. For me, it's mostly balanced. Definitely mostly balanced. And again, with leaving some money on the table, it's more like mid-range and scrubs or all mid-range. Some stars and scrubs, but here, I'll put it this way. If you like the top-end market, guys, let me go back to the model really quickly. Let me see. What am I doing here? Oh, yeah. Filter on. If you like Sungjae, Westwood, Neiman, Scott, Henley, those guys, and we like a couple of those guys, but if you like them, easy week to play stars and scrubs because we have so many guys, 7,500 or less, 7K or less that you can fit in. So if you like stars and scrubs, go ahead and do it. That was a winning line of construction in this event last year on DraftKings. Let's see. All right, 6 minutes left. Any final questions? Let's get them in. All right, we talked about lineup construction. Let's talk about those 5 to 15% guys. We didn't really talk about them yet. So I'm going to slip this in here. DraftKings. Actually, let's do FanDuel. We haven't talked about FanDuel yet. So we'll do 5 to 15% projected ownership on FanDuel, and we'll sort by OF index. Doug Gim cost us on Sunday last week, but still playing pretty good golf. He obviously fits the bill here. Bradley, Percy, these are guys that model likes. But if you look at the line move guys, obviously Zach Johnson, a plug play. Chris Kirk, a line move guy. Streelman, a plug play. Varner, line move. Ryan Moore, mispriced, plug play. Let's see who else here. Luke List, mispriced. Johnny question mark, he's in the plug. So a lot of guys here near the top of the model in that 5 to 15% range. I mean, this is the perfect high-risk week to jam in these guys that are between 5 and 15%, get major leverage on the field, and just cross your fingers that one of these guys will win the tournament. Very possible. 4 minutes left, ladies and gents. Let's get those final questions in. Again, the daily plug for PGA is published every Tuesday, normally around dinner time, East Coast time. And Niramata, top 100 PGA DFS player, puts in his top plays and lineup strategies for the week. Comes back in Wednesday afternoon, analyze the betting markets, what moves have been made. And again, these are moves that we want. If you haven't already, and again, it's more evergreen content, even though he gives specific plays in this podcast. It's definitely evergreen content. Go back and listen to our podcast with Jeff Sherman. He runs all of the golf odds. He's the VP of risk management at the Superbook out in Las Vegas. And when we asked him in the show, we said, what's the best way for a DFS player, an outsider, to figure out who the sharp bettors are on? He said, follow the betting markets. Follow sharp sports books. Obviously, the Superbook's a sharp sports book. So is Pinnacle. So we see these lines moving. That tells us sharp bettors in some way are moving money, are backing some of these guys. And because prices stay stagnant in DFS, is an individual sport, we can easily take advantage. Look at some of the top pros. Look at their low risk lineups that they're jamming in. Guys that they're just playing guys with line moves, mispriced according to Pinnacle and Sharp Sports Books. So we can play those guys. We get them at lower ownership, even better for our large field contests. That replay and that podcast is on YouTube. It's also in podcast apps. But again, it's the Players Championship betting preview with Jeff Sherman of the Superbook. Swag says, what would you price yourself versus Doug Gim on Sunday? Swag gives me some respect and says minus 110. I don't know, man. If we're going top golf scoring, I think I got Gimchi for sure. Yeah, I'd definitely be a favorite in top golf. Get me on the greens though, we're in trouble. I think Gimchi's got me if somehow we're in a putting contest. Joe says thoughts on Berger with the injury over under field. So if you haven't heard, Berger is out of the contest. He's withdrawn. So definitely under the 1% that the field will play Berger. Don't play Berger. He's out. All right, I think that'll do it, guys. We're at 10:28, 2 minutes left. If you do have one final question or two, get it in. I'll pay the bills here with some ads and some promos. So again, if you're not already, click subscribe here on YouTube. Get notified all of our videos when they're released on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. We always appreciate that. Lets us know you like this content. We should continue creating more of it. Click the join button right below YouTube. If you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Get access to our Discord channel. Supports us here on YouTube. Gives you access to Occupy Fantasy emojis. Classic tap water emote. Occupy Fantasy emote. Moose's hand emote. What else we got? Chaos emote. Always need that. So get access to those during the live streams if you click the join button. All you do, $2.99 a month. Supports us. Gives you access to some cool stuff. OccupyFantasy.com is where you can get access to the Daily Plug, access to the Occupy model, access to the Occupy Fantasy lineup builder, which we didn't really talk about tonight, but has been crushing it for every sport. Customizable rules, import directly from the Occupy model to create that 2-2-2 approach, the Occupy Fantasy construction. You want 2 golfers below 5%, 2 golfers above 15%. Easy rule to create in the lineup builder. I just built my 150 using those rules right before we came on stream here. OccupyFantasy.com/lineup builders where you can get more information about that. So that'll do it. Appreciate everyone listening here, the PGA DFS show. We'll be back tomorrow night, maybe with the NBA show, probably with a March Madness show. Maybe you'll get lucky. We'll get 2 shows in one night. Of course, back Friday, probably some League of Legends or some other action, and then Saturday for UFC. Again, just click subscribe. You'll be notified whenever we go live. So, Brian Jester, you can follow me at Brian Jester FF on Twitter. Follow us at Occupy Fantasy. Good luck, everybody, tomorrow. Let's get a sweat on Sunday.